Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that might save you from a travel disaster. We're talking about the worst places in the world to travel to. Let's get started. We're going to break down the top 5 places you absolutely, positively shouldn't visit, no matter how tempting it might seem. Get ready for some wild stories, shocking facts, and maybe a few chills down your spine. First up, we're heading to South America, to a city that was once a bustling tourist hub, known for its vibrant culture and stunning natural beauty. Today, Caracas, Venezuela, paints a much different picture.
Caracas is a city plagued by crime, and I'm not just talking about pickpockets. We're talking about kidnappings, carjackings, armed robberies, the works. The streets are unpredictable, and even the most seasoned travelers are at risk. Imagine walking down the street, constantly looking over your shoulder, your heart pounding with every unfamiliar sound. That's everyday life in Caracas.
The economic crisis has fueled this wave of crime, leaving locals and tourists alike feeling unsafe and vulnerable. The Venezuelan government is struggling to maintain control, and the police force is often outmatched and outgunned. Even if you're traveling with a group, your safety is far from guaranteed.
It's a shame because Venezuela has so much potential with its incredible landscapes and rich history. But for now, it's a place you're better off admiring from afar. Maybe one day things will change and Caracas will reclaim its former glory. But until then, it's a no-go zone for anyone looking for a safe and enjoyable travel experience.
Trust me, you don't want to end up stranded in a city where even the locals are afraid to venture out at night. It's a recipe for disaster, and your safety is not worth the risk. So, unless you're a thrill seeker with a death wish, I'd recommend steering clear of Caracas. There are plenty of other amazing places to explore in South America that won't leave you fearing for your life. Next up, we're traveling to the Horn of Africa, to a city that's been battered by both human conflict and natural disasters. Mogadishu, Somalia, is a place where survival is a daily struggle and the forces of nature are as unforgiving as the political climate.
Mogadishu is located in a region prone to extreme weather conditions, from scorching droughts that decimate crops and livestock to devastating floods that wash away homes and livelihoods. The city is locked in a constant battle against the elements, and it's a battle that often feels unwinnable.
Imagine a place where the sun beats down with relentless fury, turning the landscape into a parched and unforgiving wasteland. Water becomes a precious commodity and the threat of famine looms large. Then, just as the people of Mogadishu begin to recover from the scorching heat, torrential rains arrive, transforming the dry earth into a raging torrent of mud and debris.
Homes are swept away, roads become impassable, and the cycle of destruction begins anew. The people of Mogadishu are incredibly resilient, having endured decades of hardship and uncertainty. But even their strength is tested by the relentless onslaught of natural disasters.
The infrastructure is fragile, ill-equipped to handle the double whammy of drought and floods. Hospitals are overwhelmed, sanitation systems are strained, and the threat of disease outbreaks is a constant worry. While there are efforts to rebuild and strengthen Mogadishu's defenses against the elements, progress is slow and often hampered by the ongoing conflict and political instability.
Visiting Mogadishu is not for the faint of heart. It's a city on the edge, grappling with challenges that most of us can only imagine. So, unless you're a humanitarian worker or a journalist on assignment, I'd advise against adding Mogadishu to your travel bucket list.
Our next stop takes us to the heart of Central Asia, to a city steeped in history but scarred by decades of conflict. Kabul, Afghanistan, is a place where the echoes of war still linger, and the threat of violence is never far from mind.
Kabul has been at the center of political turmoil and armed conflict for far too long. While there have been efforts to establish peace and stability, the situation remains volatile and unpredictable.
Imagine a city where checkpoints and armed guards are a common sight, where the sound of gunfire can erupt without warning, shattering the fragile peace. That's the reality for the people of Kabul.
Traveling to Kabul means accepting a level of risk that most travelers simply aren't prepared to face. The threat of terrorist attacks, kidnappings, and bombings is a constant worry, and even the most secure areas can be targeted.
The streets of Kabul tell a story of resilience and loss. Buildings bear the scars of past battles, and the faces of its people reflect the hardships they've endured. It's a city caught in a cycle of violence, struggling to break free from its troubled past.
While there are pockets of hope and normalcy in Kabul, the overall security situation remains precarious. Foreign governments often advise against all but essential travel to the city, and those who do choose to visit do so at their own peril.
It's a tragedy because beneath the layers of conflict, Kabul is a city of immense beauty and cultural significance. But until peace prevails, it remains a place where the risks far outweigh the rewards for travelers. From the war-torn streets of Kabul, we journey to a different kind of challenging destination, this time in the South Pacific. Port Moresby, the capital of Papua New Guinea, might seem like a tropical paradise at first glance, but beneath the surface lies a city grappling with poverty, crime, and a severe lack of infrastructure.
Port Moresby is a city of stark contrasts. On one hand, you have stunning natural beauty, with lush rainforests, pristine beaches, and a vibrant coral reef system. But on the other hand, you have a city plagued by poverty, unemployment, and a high crime rate.
Imagine arriving in a city where the roads are riddled with potholes, where basic amenities like electricity and running water are unreliable, and where the threat of violence lurks in the shadows. That's the reality for many residents of Port Moresby.
The lack of infrastructure is a major deterrent for tourists. Getting around the city can be a challenge, and finding decent accommodation can be surprisingly expensive. And once you're there, there's not a whole lot to see or do that would justify the hassle and risk.
While there are efforts to improve the infrastructure and attract tourism to Port Moresby, progress has been slow. The city is still struggling to shake off its reputation as a dangerous and underdeveloped destination.
It's a shame, because Papua New Guinea has so much to offer in terms of natural beauty and cultural diversity. But until Port Moresby addresses its issues with crime and infrastructure, it's unlikely to become a major tourist hub.
Our final destination takes us back to the Middle East, to a city ravaged by civil war and humanitarian crisis. Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, was once a vibrant center of trade and culture, but today it stands as a stark reminder of the devastating toll of conflict.
Sana'a has been at the epicenter of a brutal civil war for years, leaving the city in ruins and its people facing unimaginable hardship. The conflict has led to a catastrophic humanitarian crisis, with widespread displacement, food shortages, and a healthcare system on the brink of collapse.
Imagine a city where bombs rain down from the sky without warning, where hospitals are overflowing with the wounded and dying, and where clean water and basic necessities are scarce and precious. That's the grim reality of life in Sana'a today.
Traveling to Sana'a is not only ill-advised, it's incredibly dangerous. The city is a war zone, and foreigners are at high risk of being caught in the crossfire, kidnapped, or worse.
The infrastructure has been decimated by the fighting, with roads impassable, airports closed, and communication networks unreliable. Even if you manage to reach Sana'a, finding food, water, and shelter would be a daily struggle.
The humanitarian crisis in Yemen is one of the worst in the world, and the situation in Sana'a is particularly dire. Aid organizations are struggling to reach those in need, and the international community seems powerless to stop the bloodshed.
It's heartbreaking to witness the destruction and suffering in Sana'a, a city that was once a beacon of civilization and beauty. Until peace prevails and the humanitarian crisis is addressed, Sana'a will remain a no-go zone for travelers. So there you have it, the top 5 worst travel destinations in the world. These are places where danger is a constant companion, where the risks far outweigh the rewards for the average traveler. Remember, travel is supposed to be about exploration, discovery, and creating unforgettable memories. Don't let a thirst for adventure lead you into a dangerous situation. There are countless other incredible destinations around the world that offer beauty, culture, and excitement without putting your safety at risk. Do your research, stay informed, and choose your travel destinations wisely. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel tips and advice. Stay safe out there and see you in the next video.